This got me to bring out all my game use shoes because what you're going to see in this box is absolutely insane. And I see the shoes on the top. Oh my goodness. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be collecting or as involved in the hobby. So hey guys, I'm not going to any card shows. Remember this. I'm going to be live once a week on Whatnot. So I want to remind you guys about the Whatnot app. I'm going to have autographs, memorabilia, sports cards, and more. Use my link down below. You get your first $10 to spend on Whatnot. It is one of my favorite places to buy and sell sports cards starting at $1. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Leave a like, drop a comment, and we'll see you soon. It is Christmas time. It's the happy holidays. And I told you in every video I want to give away one item. And you know what? Since we're talking about memorabilia, let's give away a signed jersey. Look at this. We're going to give away this Joseph Bibon signed jersey right here. And this thing is sick. It is inscribed. It's got all the inscriptions, 67 Heisman right there. And all you have to do to win this is like this video and comment down below. What is your favorite memory that you had with a famous person, a sports athlete? I want to know a story. Tell me a good story in the comments. And if you've never met somebody famous or an athlete, then tell me what your favorite memorabilia piece you have is. It could be a Kobe signed 8x10. It could be a signed football. But tell me a memory and share it down below, and I'll pick one winner for the signed jersey. And with that, enjoy the video. Today, I'm going to show you guys something I've never shown you in my entire life. Ladies and gentlemen, my game-used NBA basketball shoe collection. I picked up an unbelievable pair of game-used shoes from an NBA champion, and they're sitting in a box to my right. But before I get in this video, I want to tell you guys about the story behind these shoes. I've been collecting sports autographs since I was 14 years old. And what I used to do was I used to try to get game-used shoes from players when I was younger. When I was younger, it was a lot easier. But also, I was able to make friends with guys like DeMarcus Cousins, who would give me his shoe from his rookie-sophomore game, or guys like Tyreek Evans that gave me his shoe after the big Lakers game. I was able to make friends with a lot of the local teams. Today's video is about my game-used NBA shoe collection, and I'll have some stories to go in with it. And I'm also going to unbox some game-used shoes directly from a person that worked in the NBA. And the pair of shoes in here is so sick that we have to just jump right into it. Look at these. You have got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. All right. I'm going to pull these out. Not just one pair of shoes. There's 3 pairs of shoes in here. And I'm going to start it off with these amazing... These are from 2015. These are game worn by none other than Klay Thompson. Look at these right here. Klay Thompson, KT11 on the tongue. And Klay Thompson wears a size 15 shoe. Look at that. And these are Nikes. I think these are Hyper Dunks, and they're actually photo matched to the Minnesota Timberwolves game from 2015. I photo matched them. These are some of the few game worn shoes that I've ever bought in my life, besides the ones I'm going to show you after, which were shoes that were given to me directly from players. But look at these Klay Thompsons. So these got me going. I picked up these Klay game worn shoes. As you can see, they're game worn right there. And we got the promo sample tags. These shoes are so sick. They're Warrior colors. And if you go... And you guys know, Getty Images, okay? I'm bringing it up. If you ever wanted to photo match a game-worn or a game-worn shoe, I go to their database and I typed in Klay Thompson versus the Timberwolves, and that is where I was able to find the match to the Timberwolves game. So go on there, and you guys can make all the jokes you want, but that is where I found it, and that is the best place if you want to photo match shoes. If you're on eBay or anywhere else on a Whatnot or a different live stream, and or a auction house like Maygray, and you want to buy a game worn item and you want to know if it's legit, go on the Getty Image database and you can see any photography you want from there, and it'll show you. For example, I found Klay wearing these exact shoes, and there's a little scuff on one of the pictures on the shoe, and you can see it right there. So Klay Thompson game worn shoes right there, and that was my first pickup. And then next we'll get into these. So these are not custom, but they're very nice shoes. I got these all in a package deal. These are actually from Mike Conley. Right there, Mike Conley, and that's his autograph for sure. This was a former employee of the Timberwolves, and he had access to a lot of players, and he was able to get these Mike Conleys. As you can see, the autograph on the end right there. 4Motion Adidas. I'm not a shoe sneaker guy, so if you guys know the name of the shoes better than I do, that's sick. Check these out. These are pretty sick. You see that? The Jet Series. Yep, that's right, everybody. Jason Terry, game-worn shoes from the Dallas Mavericks. So I hope to get these autographed one day, and these are obviously game-worn. These are pretty bent up. These are Reeboks, and they say the Jet Series. So those are the shoes I picked up, and then I'll show you guys some of my personal collection of shoes. I'm just going to say it right now. People are going to ask me, what's my plan with these Klays? And I'm going to keep these Klay Thompsons. I'm going to hopefully meet Klay Thompson, and I would love to get him to sign and inscribe these. To own Klay Thompson's 2015 game-worn shoes, their first championship season. So I'm very happy to own these Klays, and I got them for, a very reasonable price. And huge shout out to my boy for selling me these. So these Klay Thompsons, I will be holding on to them, and my game used collection grows. So I've always loved game used. I've loved asking players for game used shoes. I will say this, when I was 14, 15, 16 in high school, I would ask players for their shoes, and guys like Goran Dragic and Jarrett Jack gave me their game-worn shoes from the away team. But for every success I had a lot of denials. For example, Ty Lawson was supposed to give me his shoes one time, and he found me after the game. He threw the shoes, and the shoes got intercepted, and I did not get those shoes. Other chances, guys like Martell Webster promised me shoes. I wasn't able to get them after the game. Guys would give me a high five, or guys like Steven Jackson gave me his headband and his sleeve. He said, I can't give you my shoes. I got to give them to a family member. So he gave me everything else besides the shoes. And then guys like Dwight Howard gave me his warm-up. When people ask, like, how would you ask a player for shoes? I made signs. I would ask them directly. When I was a kid, it made more sense. Now I'm, in my late 20s. With DeMarcus, I obviously collect him, so to get his game-worn stuff, it'd be sick. My one player, if you asked me if I wanted their game-worn shoes or jersey, who would it have been? And it would be Kevin Durant. I've always wanted to get Kevin Durant's game-worn, and I've always liked him. So with that, we'll get into this. Let's get into our shoe section, and let's start it off. Here we go. First, we have a size 16 from NBA Summer League. DeMarcus Cousins got his Summer League shoe right here. And it's crazy. I went to so many basketball games, I can recognize the theme of 2010 and 11 Nike right here. I remember seeing a lot of players wear those generics. So those are size 16s. And then next, we'll get into these. These are actually game-worn for after the Lakers game. DeMarcus Cousins. These are rookie game-worn shoes right here. And these are very generic. There's no custom. So when you saw the Klay Thompsons have custom stitching, which obviously, they're for Klay. Got shoes like this are very generic, and that is a size 16 DeMarcus Cousins. So they're not custom. Versus, we'll get into a custom shoe, and this was really cool. And look how dirty it is. He took a sole out of the shoe. Tyreke Evans was such a great player for the Kings, but he was just an all-around star in the NBA. And unfortunately, he's not in the league right now, but he was a great guy. Wreak havoc right there. And these are very game-worn. This was a big design by Nike, that space design, and the Nike Zooms right there. So I love the custom on this Tyreke Evans shoe. When I got this shoe, this was such a big deal. You have no idea. It would be equivalent to somebody getting John Morant's game-worn shoe or Derrick Rose, like during their prime time. It was a big deal. Next, we have another DeMarcus Cousins rookie shoe here. So DeMarcus, obviously I got my fair share of game-worn items from him. So pretty sick, DeMarcus Cousins. Next, this is from Ben McLemore. Crazy Lights, remember these? So Ben McLemore right there, standard shoe. And Ben wears, most players wear like a 13 or a 14 or a 12. Ben wears a 13 and a half. And then this is one of my favorites. It was actually worn in the rookie-sophomore game during his sophomore season, and that is DeMarcus Cousins. And we got the custom tag right there. And it actually matches up very well with these. Very similar. Even though these are 2015, these are more 2011, 2012, I believe. DeMarcus Cousins, and these are game worn, obviously, and they're autographed on the side. And people ask if you should get what color what marker you should get shoes signed in. I'm just telling you right now, if you get shoes signed in blue, they will bleed and fade. Get shoes signed in black, Sharpie, or like a silver. That's it. Don't use blue. Blue fades. It's a known fact. Ben McLemore, game worn right there. Ben McLemore was the nicest NBA player on the Sacramento Kings. Just one of those guys that would give out his shoes. Him and Carl Landry, who I will go into next. Carl Landry, I remember he was the first game-worn shoe I ever got was Carl Landry, and I was hooked, man. When he gave me his game-worn shoe, I was in shock. I cried that night. I was so happy, and he became one of my favorite players in the NBA before Boogie, but Carl Landry was just an amazing human being. Carl Landry, game-worn shoe right there. He was one of the nicest guys in the NBA. There's guys you'll hear about like him and Mo Peterson and just guys like that you wouldn't even think of, but they end up being some of the nicest players. Kyle Korver was a great guy. Next, this is actually worn by yours truly. This is my basketball shoe I wore, but I got it signed by Kobe. And I'll tell this quick story. I've told it before. I saw Kobe and Dwayne Wade at a Sports Illustrated event, and I had my basketball shoes with me and had like a photo or a sports card with me of Kobe, but Kobe wasn't signing that stuff. He signed for some guy with a tattoo, and I had my shoes around my neck because I wore these playing basketball, and I wore these around LA playing basketball. They're very beat up. You'd probably think, why would you get that signed? But what happened was Kobe was walking, and I said, hey, Kobe, I wore these when I used to play. And Kobe turned around. He said, that's what's up, man. And he signed my shoe. And this was in 2016. So I've kept this ever since. Shout out to Kobe, rest in peace. And it's just like, it's crazy. Like, this means a lot to me. Next, this is a DeMarcus Cousins from the Royals jerseys night. And that's a rookie autograph shoe. And that's a beauty right there. So a lot of just generic shoes. These are the Hyperfuse. Those were a big theme in 2010-11, and that is also a size 16. So DeMarcus is universally a size 16 on shoes. One of my favorite Kings, and like I said, he was one of the nicest players in the NBA, and these are some Damian Lillards, and that is Ben McLemore. So I wish they were worn by Dame, but Ben McLemore right there, and Ben was always a great guy. He would give out his shoes and he took care of the fans, and these are definitely game worn. And I photo matched them. I think they were worn in like 4 games. So the reason I brought up the photography thing, because you can photo match them in many games. So I use it as a tool for you guys for my advice to look up game used items. If you see someone post a pair of game worn shoes, look it up and see if they photo match. If not, they're probably worn in practice or they weren't game worn. These are from Summer League, and I went to Marquette, and actually Darius Johnson Odom right here also went to Marquette, and I met him at Summer League. I went up to him like, man, I'm going to be a freshman at Marquette, and I just want to say I want to root for you, and I was wondering if you could give me a pair of shoes to bring to my dorm. Darius Johnson Odom looked at me, and he's like, do you have a phone? And I said, yeah, and he said, all right, well, why don't you take down my number and meet me at the Bellagio? So I texted him, and I got on a shuttle. I didn't take a taxi because I didn't want to spend the extra $40, and I was going into college. And I got into a taxi. I texted Darius Johnson Odom. He's like, I'll be right down. And Darius Johnson Odom came down from his hotel and blessed me with these Kobe's. So shout out to Darius Johnson Odom. That's pretty cool. I actually haven't talked to him in years, but I don't know. That was crazy. These are special. DeMarcus Cousins. These are DeMarcus Cousins foam posits from his own personal collection. So right there. And the TMC is The Marathon Continues. Nipsey Hussle. So foam posits a boogie, and these are actually 15, which is my size. I wear a size 15 if any of you are wondering about my shoe size. And then honorable mentions, there's some shoes that were not shown, but I'll show my game worn jersey and some other stuff real quick. Everybody asks me what my favorite item is, and it is this right here. This is a game-worn Sacramento Kings jersey. I've taken this with me everywhere. I took this to my dorm room. I took it to Los Angeles. And man, as I come back, the autograph's kind of dipping out a little bit. But I have it right here, 4/17/13. This is a game-worn DeMarcus Cousins jersey, my senior year of high school right here. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. So DeMarcus, I talk about this a lot. I was begging him to get a game-worn jersey, and players have to pay for their jerseys. When Dwight Howard would give away his jersey every game, he had to pay $500 out of pocket. And I asked Boogie for his game-worn jersey a couple times. He would give me shoes, and I finally mustered up the courage. And I think like 3 weeks before the end of the season, it was after a Clipper game, and I waited. I used to wait for DeMarcus after. And I'd give him gifts, Sour Patch Kids, stuff like that when I was in high school. It was my senior year, and I asked him. I was the only one there, and I was waiting in the rain. He's like, what the hell are you doing out here? And I was like, bro, I was just waiting for you. I know you're going to go on the road. I wanted to know if I could get your game-worn jersey in a couple weeks after the last game. And I told him, I said, I'm going to be going to Marquette University. I'm not going to get to see you play as much, and I want to have something to take back with me. He said, I got you. Don't worry, bro. So I've heard players tell me that a lot. And with DeMarcus, it actually ended up working because he followed me on Twitter and then we connected. But I was still nervous. So the last game of the year, the Kings were going to get sold to Seattle. It was scary. They were going to sell our team. We thought it was over. And I go to Natomas, Arco Arena, and I have this huge sign that says, can your number one fan get your game-worn jersey? And they kick me. So that day, they were freaking out about, safety precautions for the arena. So I go into the property, and I get there at 4 o'clock. I left from school at 2:50 from Jesuit. I dipped out, got on the freeway, headed there, had my sign, sat in my car, and then I popped out because I thought it was DeMarcus in his Porsche, and the security's like, you need to go, you got to leave, you can't stand here, it's a security problem. And I said, man, I just got to wait one more car. And then I tried, and they're like, no, you got to leave. So I left, and I don't know about you guys, but like I'm pretty rebellious. So I parked my car next to a liquor store. I walked over to the edge of the stoplight of Arco Arena, and DeMarcus Cousins drove by, and he rolled down his window. He said, I got you, bro. Don't worry. Then I go to the game. I'm nervous. I have, bad seats, but it's the last game. And the usher for the King side, the people that let you down to your seats, she always knew I was a huge, game-worn guy. She saw me get headbands, stuff like that, armbands, shoes from players, Rudy Gay's game-worn jersey, everything. She basically said, I'll let you go down, and with, 10 seconds left, get down there. And I was just in shock, And, when you're a senior in high school and you're, it's the farewell, of the Kings, that's your life for the last 4 years. It's pretty crazy. I run down there. DeMarcus shakes hands with the Clippers, and he has a great game, dominates, they lose, but he comes off and he's looking into the crowd, and I can see him, and I have the sign up, and he looks over and he points at me, and he comes over to me, and I told him, don't throw the jersey, because I've had people steal jerseys and shoes from me. And he comes up into the arena, like on the edge, and he says, and he's like, here you go, man. And I got it. And he put it like this. He gave it right to me. How did I get it signed? I skipped school the next day, which I had never done for an autograph in my life. But if it was the last time I was going to see Boogie and Sack, I wanted to make it worthwhile. So I showed up the next day around 11 o'clock to the practice facility with my best friend from high school, Joe. And we met DeMarcus, and he signed it and put the date on it. And he said, the Kings are not getting sold. Don't worry. And I was like, what? And then they didn't get sold. Now you get to light the beam. The Kings they just won tonight. So Kings are doing very well. But that's the story behind the DeMarcus jersey. I've told it a couple times, and it's a gamer. And you asked me, have I washed it? No, I haven't washed it. I've owned it since the beginning. Why isn't it framed? It was framed, and it fell off when I was traveling a lot. And I framed it again, and it fell again. So I need a new framer. This is DeMarcus' headband from the Nuggets. This is the recent one. And then Jimmy from the Kentucky Roadshow gave me Boogie's game-worn headband right here from his Kentucky days. That is it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little different, but I had a lot of stories and a lot of memories behind all this. And, I will say this as I pull this out, getting autographs from some of these people was some of the best memories I had in my entire collecting life beyond the sports cards for me, like meeting Kobe and guys like that, and making connections with players as a kid. It's pretty crazy when you're 14, 15, 16, talking to guys that are 20 to 28, and they're like, they're cool. They're like mentors, and like, they're just, I don't know, they're people I could look up to when I was younger, and for them to sign an autograph or give me a pair of shoes, it went a long way. It's the reason I'm here collecting today. Guys like DeMarcus, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be collecting or as involved in the hobby. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you later.